So as predicted in my last news update, today we got the final trailer for the Andor series. Diego Luna appeared on Good Morning America, and our final glimpse into the show is here. But Diego's appearance on Good Morning America brought some strange news with it, because now Andor is no longer releasing on August 31st, but rather on September the 21st. They've pushed it back nearly an entire month. Not only that, but there's going to be a 3-episode premiere. Very strange stuff. So that means we pretty much have no August content, because the Bad Batch Season 2 also releases 1 week later on September the 28th. Now more information on this is sure to come, but first, let's just focus on the trailer breakdown. So what's really clear right from the start is this show has an enormous scope. We see more of the beautiful landscapes from the teaser trailer, and it's really focusing on how Cassian's been in this fight since he was 6 years old. We do see a younger version of him witnessing the effects of the Clone Wars, and later on, the Empire. The biggest takeaway from this trailer is the fact that Andor infiltrates them many times. He is the ultimate Rebel Alliance spy, so just like Making Star Wars said the other day in their leak, he does infiltrate some of the prison system. Now, I assume the Clone Wars flashbacks are going to be quite brief. As we know from the rumours, they're at the start of the show and they're not being focused on too much, but it's trying to show how Cassian Andor was always from this poor upbringing on Fest. He had issues as his parents did with the Republic, they were separatist sympathisers, and now as an adult, he has issues with the Empire. He sees both regimes as equally oppressive. The voiceover from Diego Luna says, "They can't imagine that someone like me would get inside their house. He is literally infiltrating them from the inside." Another really cool shot that probably takes place earlier in the show is Andor's father and an unknown character looking at Phase 2 clone troopers walking past. Now, even though General Draven is the one who recruits Andor into the Rebel Alliance, it seems like Andor has run-ins with multiple factions. We see Stellan Skarsgård's character, whose name is Luthen Rael, speaking to Andor, asking him to give his all for something that's real. Now, what we do know about Luthen Rael, Stellan Skarsgård's character, is that while he is a rebel, he's not as extreme as Saw Gerrera. I would call him morally grey. He's willing to do what it takes, but does not take as extreme an approach as Saw. And speaking of Saw and his partisans, we do see them in this teaser. I was so excited to see Forrest Whitaker back, and here he is looking awesome. So a younger version of Saw Gerrera, and also Two Tubes. Two Tubes, who is better known as Benthic Tubes, was a male Tognath mercenary pilot. Before joining Saw Gerrera, he allied himself with Enfys Nest, and a big question we've had for this show is, are we going to see her at some stage? Now, don't get Benthic confused with Edrio, who's also known as Two Tubes. There were two of the same species in Rogue One, but Edrio also appeared in Star Wars Rebels. While we are probably going to see both at some stage in the show, the one we see in the trailer is indeed Benthic, and you can tell the difference from their apparel. Now, we also get a look at a new Rebel base, Luthen Rael's base. While we don't know which planet this is for sure, it kind of looks like Yavin 4, but what we know for certain is that this was filmed in Dorset. But at this Rebel base, Saw Gerrera is negotiating with Stellan's character. Luthen says, "Call it what you will," and Saw says, "Let's call it war." Now, another rumour confirmed by this trailer is indeed the appearance of Mud Troopers. This was a Bespin Bulletin exclusive, and he said that we would see Mud Troopers with a new, cleaner design. Well, that is absolutely the case. Now, there's one planet from the trailer that does look very familiar. It kind of looks like Jabim, but knowing the way Star Wars are doing things with a more cinematic scale for this show, I think it's going to be a new one. Now, it seems as though in this series, even though the Rebel Alliance is so tiny compared to the Empire at this stage, the Imperials, especially the ISB, seem to be very aware of these little pockets of rebellion. We even hear someone say pockets are fermenting. In other words, the little guy is making himself known. All across the galaxy, there are these pockets of rebellion, people fed up with Palpatine's regime and want something new and different for the galaxy, freedom and a move away from oppression. We also get some more gorgeous shots of Coruscant. I can't tell you how happy this makes me as a prequels fan. And we even see Mon Mothma before she's kicked out of the Galactic Senate. Now, there is a new unnamed female Imperial who is going to be a main character as well, and she says, "You're in my net." I think all of these Imperials are starting to realize that something is off. Yes, we're going to see what the Empire's working on, the continuation of Project Stardust, which is the Death Star project, but they're also noticing something is a bit awry. Eventually, they're going to realize that someone is infiltrating from within, and that is the spy thriller aspect aspect of this show. I'm super excited. I still can't work out from this trailer who Adria Arjona is playing, but it seems as though she could be a love interest for Cassian Andor. At first I thought maybe she's going to be a sister, but in this trailer, from the brief bit of footage we have, the two characters do seem to have a very tense chemistry. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. We can't speculate on this too much until we know for sure. I think they're deliberately leaving out who she is, but whatever her role, she is listed as the primary cast, right up there with Andor and Luthen. And speaking of the latter, it seems as though he knows Mon Mothma. If you remember some of those exclusive shots, we do see him and Mon Mothma conversing in what looks to be an antique shop. We get more of that in the teaser trailer. I think she goes to Luthen after she's been kicked from the Senate. After she puts out that message that we saw in Star Wars Rebels addressing Palpatine, she realizes she needs to be a part of this revolution, this rebellion we see make itself manifest in the biggest way later on in Rogue One and A New Hope. We get some more characters too, some really epic space battles. It's all really amazing. It's about time we got some more cinematic Star Wars, and it was so great to see Andor trending this morning. Everyone was waiting for Good Morning America to finally show us that trailer. Diego Luna's pumped for the show, his energy's infectious, we're all behind him and the cast, and I think this one is going to be an absolute banger. I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is going to be the best Star Wars series of the year. At the end of the trailer we hear desperation in Andor's voice when he says he's tired of losing, and we do see a confirmation of making Star Wars' leak that he's going to infiltrate the prison system, the one where they're working on kyber crystals for the Death Star. And go and check out my recent videos where I do break down why that's so important, the connections to Star Wars Rebels, some of the Rogue One spin-off material like Catalyst and the Tarkin novel. Oh, I'm just so excited. Seeing the rebellion against the Empire, seeing TIE fighters again, seeing literal Star Wars is the bread and butter of this franchise for me. I think this show is going to do so much justice to Rogue One, and while that film was amazing, Andor is going to amplify some of those themes and the stakes, considering just how much our heroes have gone through. So excited, guys. Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Okay, so before I go, guys, we do have some more Andor news. This is from the most recent issue of Star Wars Insider, and it's titled From the Shadows, The Dangerous Life of a Rebel Agent. They say, as we look forward to the launch of Andor on Disney+, Star Wars Insider explores the precarious existence of the rebel spy, and how Cassian's selflessness set him apart from more extreme figures like Saw Gerrera. Let's dive into it. War is full of impossible choices made in the most stressful and morally ambiguous environments. Commanders send their troops into battle, knowing many won't survive the day. Spies must participate in or ignore illegal behaviors to keep their true identities safe, and bombers are often unable to verify their payloads won't injure civilians, along with their intended targets. Cassian Gerrera on Andor was a Rebel Alliance hero whose bravery helped turn the tide in the battle between the Alliance and the Empire. But many of Andor's actions on missions for the rebellion were morally questionable. Star Wars Insider takes a look into the life of Andor and other rebel spies and insurgents who sometimes blurred the lines between right and wrong in their desperate fight against the Empire. The article goes on to basically detail what we already knew about Cassian's life, but they also talk about how the show is probably going to explore times that Andor had to do things that were against his own morals, against his view on the world. Dedication to the rebellion means just that, and his passion for fighting the oppression of Palpatine's regime is the whole point, but he does things in very different ways to the likes of Saw Gerrera and more extreme partisans who take an all or nothing approach. But there were times where Cassian had to do things that were morally in the grey area, all for the greater good. And in the past, as we know, Tony Gilroy himself has touched upon how this show is going to explore some of the grittier elements of Cassian's life. I really can't wait, guys. It sucks we have to wait extra, but you know what? Whatever. The trailer was amazing, I'm still on the high of that. But share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you want more videos not found here on YouTube, while also helping to support what I do, then be sure to click the link down there in the description. But until the next one, guys, may the Force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg. Have a good one.